Hi, I'm Avery Davidson.
And I'm Kristen Oakes White. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only television show connecting farmers and consumers together every week.
We just had the Thanksgiving holiday, and one thing on many plates around Louisiana homes, oyster dressing.
It's just one of the many ways to enjoy oysters. However you like them, eating oysters is now a way to help save Louisiana's coastline. As TWILA's Neil Melanson tells us, a program to recycle oyster shells is creating artificial reefs to protect our shores and, just as important, make more oysters.
Now won't you come along with me down the Mississippi?
If you know New Orleans restaurants, you can't walk past this sign and not think about charbroiled oysters. Drago's is just one of the many restaurants serving oysters in a variety of ways in the city. 2 years ago, the Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana, or CRCL, started working with these restaurants to help ensure they have a steady supply of these foodie favorites now and in the future. An oyster shell recycling program is taking the discarded shells from here to here, an artificial reef built with these shells. This is the first of many planned reefs made from the more than 5 million tons of oyster shells collected since 2014. Here in 2016, this half-mile barrier is the result of a lot of happy times in the Crescent City.
So literally thousands of people contributed to this reef. This is the shell that went from New Orleans restaurants and otherwise would have gone to landfills. Now it's protecting our coast.
Now, of course, the oyster beds are why we're out here today, but really it's this that they're designed to protect. This marshland that's so sensitive to changes in sea rise and salinity and that sort of thing. So going forward in the future, it's not just oysters they're protecting, it's the entire coast.
The reefs may seem like they're just blocks of shells, but they're actually designed to accomplish a number of purposes at once.
This area is experiencing a lot of coastal land loss. And so the design of these baskets is such that we will slow the wave energy and also be providing habitat for fish, habitat for other wildlife, crabs and birds.
Now, the reefs are certainly good for the wildlife around here that depend on these marshes. They're also good for the economic health of restaurants that depend on abundant oyster supplies. Even more so, they're vital for oyster fishermen who have seen oyster reefs decline worldwide by about 85%, that according to the Nature Conservancy. Their coastal program director says it's not just for those things, but a priceless aspect of Louisiana culture dating back centuries.
As a habitat, again, they protect shoreline, they provide all these ecosystem services, and as a fishery, obviously, it's a source of income. It also confers a sense of place to Louisiana and other places around the Gulf that harvest oysters and have traditionally for 100 years.
This half-mile reef we saw is one of several planned reefs by the CRCL with the tons of oyster shells they've collected over the last 2 years. Still, this is a drop in the bucket of all the coastline that needs to be protected because of the many inlets and waterways along Louisiana's coast. That's why it's so important to support this recycling program to keep those shells coming, so eat up. For more information on the Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana and their efforts to help save Louisiana fisheries, you can log on to our website at twilatv.org. And guys, of course, in addition to the fact that these are saving Louisiana marshes, they're also saving oyster fisheries. Even though the reefs themselves won't be open for commercial fishing, the spat, the baby oysters that love those oyster shells in these reefs. And they love to perch on them specifically, and then they'll generate more, which will spread out through these marshes in areas where our oyster fishermen can go.
What I thought was really neat was you could actually see behind these reefs already where there's less erosion, where it's making an impact. And those things are pretty tough. You stood on them.
They are very solid. Each one of those things, I think, is something like 20 tons or something like that. And the real thing is when you're standing on it, the wave action is different on one side than the other. It really does. The water on the marsh side is very calm.
Fascinating story, Neil Melanson. Well, saving Louisiana's coast does more than protect homes inland from storms. It can also save the lives of endangered birds like the whooping crane.
There are only about 600 whooping cranes alive in the United States, including those in captivity. Since 2011, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries have been reintroducing the birds into Louisiana marshes with the help of a USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service program. For the first time in 77 years, a whooping crane chick hatched in Louisiana.
That's a sound you do not get to hear very often, the call of the whooping crane. For NRCS wildlife biologist Troy Malik, it's music to his ears.
This is probably the rarest and largest endangered bird in North America, so just for me to get an opportunity to come out and see it was great. I mean, I haven't seen a whooping crane before today, so this was excellent.
It's through his binoculars that Malik gets an even more rare sight. You see that bird with the brown head? That's the first whooping crane hatched in Louisiana since 1939.
They got some good shots.
It happened in a rice and crawfish field farmed by Chad and Ray Hill in Jefferson Davis Parish. Here, they look at framed pictures of the chick when it was still in its nest.
Not everybody gets to say that they've had that opportunity to have whooping cranes do that on their property, so it was awesome.
The field where these cranes built their nest is enrolled in the Natural Resources Conservation Service Conservation Stewardship Program. For the Hills, that means they leave the water on their rice fields a little bit longer than they normally would to provide habitat for migratory birds.
As we can tell, we see that the animal enhancements are working because we have the whooping cranes on their place.
Wildlife biologists with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries released the chick's parents years ago in a refuge. But they know that many whooping cranes will depend upon privately owned land to find habitat.
We have been probably a little bit surprised at how much the cranes that we've released are using private land. I think there was some thought that they would stay more in the marshes where they're originally released, but the majority of our birds, sometimes when the marshes dry down in the summer, leave the marsh and they are finding and using private land, primarily rice and crawfish fields. So the cooperation and support of private landowners and farmers has been essential and is critical to the long-term success of this project.
Without private landowners, you know, the facts of the matter is we're not going to get recovery because some species, over 90% of the habitat that they use is on private land. So this being, you know, on private land, enrolled in the NRCS program is really unbelievable. It's a great story.
The Hills are really enjoying watching the little whooping crane grow up. To learn more about the NRCS or the efforts to reestablish a whooping crane population here in Louisiana, visit our website at twilatv.org. And I like the sounds they make. It was neat going out there to shoot that story. And the little brown head bopping all around. It's just so cute.
Just a funny bird.
They are.
While the NRCS is helping preserve wildlife, a man in Tennessee is helping to preserve agriculture in Washington Parish.
His name is John Kuykendall, and he is the subject of a Louisiana Public Broadcasting documentary titled Deeply Rooted. The documentary chronicles Kuykendall's mission to catalog and preserve heirloom seeds, some going back to the 1800s.
The documentary even shows how Kuykendall helped to find seeds to a plant once thought lost in Washington Parish. Producer Christina Melton says Kuykendall has more than 100 journals like this one with drawings of plants, seeds, and illustrations of old farming practices. Melton says it was that passion which led her to produce Deeply Rooted.
John is driven by the idea that this knowledge is something that is in danger of being lost. And he feels a moral obligation to record it and to make sure it gets into the hands of the next generation.
Deeply Rooted premieres on LPB Tuesday, December 6th at 7 p.m. You can also watch it online after the premiere. Just visit our website at twilatv.org. Between 25 and 30 million real Christmas trees are sold in the United States each year, according to the USDA.
And there's one in my house. These trees are grown on more than 15,000 farms spread across all 50 states. While families visit these farms to pick the perfect tree for their home, TWILA's Carl Wiggers shows us how one Louisiana farm is sending customers home with so much more.
This view of Curry Farm shows a busy holiday scene that is similar to many Christmas tree farms across the country. But as you move in closer, the cheers from these kids aren't coming from the rows of trees.
The thing that probably motivates me the most is hearing the kids run through the fields and having a good time, and families coming together as a unit at our farm. And I think we really need that in our entire country.
Bentley Curry built this farm for children. His vision was to generate extra income to help send his grandchildren to college.
We began with Christmas trees over 30 years ago. This had formerly been a cotton farm. 9 years ago, we decided to add a pumpkin patch, and we planted just a few pumpkins. We now have 3.5 acres of pumpkins each year, and we have a 3-acre daytime corn maze.
While the corn maze and pumpkin patch is fun for the kids, for Curry, it wasn't good enough.
We have some 35 attractions that we have actually built here on the farm. Most of it's things that we have found in farmsteads and turned into something that children can play on.
Today, countless families visit and enjoy this bustling Christmas tree farm. One of those families comes here to start Louisiana all the way from Baton Rouge.
Y'all don't smell that? That smells amazing. We come and we hang out for the Thanksgiving break, and then we come out here to enjoy some good old outside fun.
Casey Cangelosi returns home every year to see her family in Monroe. She says the trip to Northeast Louisiana is not complete without visiting Curry Farms.
There's always a new activity that the kid loves to do, and we come out and we just spend the whole day. So it's just, about being together first and foremost, and we come just to enjoy the scenery and the time together and all of the fun things for the kids to do. And then, of course, we leave by picking out the perfect Christmas tree.
Curry says that getting your Christmas tree at his farm is about much more than bringing home the perfect tree. Casey's daughter, Carson, said it best.
Oh, it smells so good. It's really fun. I like to enjoy time with my family.
The big advantage right here is you really are creating an experience, building memories with the children, the entire family, in fact, that you can come and walk through the fields of trees, find a tree that you think is just perfect for you and your family.
Before Casey and her family went to look for that perfect tree, they spent hours playing in the hay barn, swinging on the swing sets, and climbing on this tire wall.
Just really classic or old-fashioned amenities outside. Also for the kids, just the different activities, it brings a lot of nostalgia, and that's really kind of important to us as far as the tradition, family time together and to be outdoors.
This farm has grown more than Curry could have ever dreamed over the last 3 decades.
We now pull people from 3 states to this farm. So it's far beyond anything I ever imagined when we started out in the early 80s.
As for the Cangelosi family, it seems that Curry Farms has what it takes to bring these kids back for years to come.
Like I said, it's nostalgic. It's just the best feeling. There's nothing like it. It's amazing. So we love this place.
In Start, Louisiana, I'm Carl Wiggers for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Curry has plans to continue to grow the farm and use it as a place for families to come together to create memories that long outlast the tree they buy. To plan your visit to Curry Farms or to find a Christmas tree farm near you, head over to our website at twilatv.org. Always looks like so much fun. It was nice bringing Luke out to pick out the tree this year, too.
Christmas tree farms are fun.
They are. They can be.
Good business, too.
Still to come on TWILA, the United Kingdom gets a taste of rice from the United States.
AJ Sabine takes us overseas on a tour of how U.S. rice is being imported there, and he's going to cook up some British favorites with American rice. Feasting on Agriculture is next.
USA Rice has actively promoted rice in the United Kingdom for years. However, as a result of the Brexit vote earlier this year, the U.S. rice industry has refocused its interest in the market for rice in the UK, as well as other European countries like Spain.
As part of the 2016 Rice Leadership International Program, a handful of growers and industry leaders, including our very own AJ Sabine, traveled to the UK to see how the evolving market for USA Rice could benefit the rice industry here in the United States. USA Rice has enjoyed growing popularity in the UK because of its flavor and cooking quality. As AJ explains, growers here in the United States should be optimistic about the growing demand for U.S. rice in the UK, particularly in the ready-to-eat meal sector, as well as a strong demand for high-quality U.S. grown rice in the growing ethnic populations of UK urban centers such as London.
For a handful of rice growers and industry leaders, a tour of the UK rice market begins at a mill. Located in Cambridge, S&B Erba has milled imported U.S. rice at this facility since 1988. General Manager Graham Carter says it's important to get feedback from growers visiting the United Kingdom.
I think it's always useful for us to understand the issues that you guys have in producing the crops. For us, it's always good to explain what the market in the UK is looking for, and hopefully if we can work together, then it leads to better opportunities for both of us.
In the intake lab, Graham explains to the group how imported rice is analyzed before it's milled. Every sample on the shelf is cross-referenced with each load that arrives for processing at the mill. Louisiana rice grower Eric Uncle says this mill, while small, operated very efficiently. S&B Herba is part of Ebro Foods, which supplies rice to major market retailers across Europe. Sales and marketing manager Peter Walker explains that in order to get more rice into the UK market, U.S. growers have to get back to the basics. That is, consistency in the product.
There's been a lot of blending of varieties. As a result, getting different lengths of grains and hence different cooking times and characteristics. So going back to basics for us is actually what USA Rice first became popular for.
S&B Herba Foods supplies many of the major industrial food businesses in the United Kingdom and in Europe. And speaking of food, London's 1,000-year-old Borough Market is a must-see food destination if you love to eat as much as I do. During my visit to the market, I met Chef Jeremy Pang, currently one of London's most popular celebrity chefs, who features USA Rice for a charity that filled the plates of more than 1,000 homeless people. Check out how rice growers in my group learned how USA Rice is being promoted in this emerging market on this special edition of Feasting on Agriculture.
Feasting on Agriculture with A.J. Sabine is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board. Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat. By the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice. And by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
In London's Borough Market, your nose will tell you that you found the right place for food. From artisanal breads to USA Rice, you can find just about anything to satisfy your appetite. That's why UK celebrity chef Jeremy Pang decided to host his Walk for 1,000 charity event here. Pang's goal? To feed 1,000 homeless people with volunteers, flavor, and a whole lot of USA Rice.
Great stuff. Really simple to use. The grain is it's kept separate, which is perfect for things like fried rice and wok cooking, because we like our grains to separate out but still have a slight bite and fluffiness at the same time.
Rice farmers Eric Uncle and Robert Petter queued up to sample some of their product. This initiative drove home the impact of rice promotion in the UK market.
I'm glad to see the U.S. Rice back in the UK, and it's a great event. Rice looks good.
Not only did it look great, but Petter explains that events like this can change attitudes back in the States.
Well, it's very exciting that we're having an upgrowth in rice consumption, especially USA rice consumption in the UK. We've overcome some obstacles since 2006. We're looking at some depressed economy at home in the agricultural sector, and it's just a positive note to help uplift a little bit of the attitude and the feelings and sentiments at home.
Chef Pang's Walk for 1,000 initiative combined a call to volunteerism with the flavors of London's West End Chinese food culture. The rice donated by the USA Rice Federation, along with other donations, have gone a long way to feed the less fortunate and the soul, according to volunteer Wendy Pang.
It's been an incredible day today. So we've been able to feed with the American Rice about 1,000 people. We've got 100 people around about now, and we've sent out 900 portions the rest of the day. So it feels amazing. But we have shared that with so many people, and we've been working and cooking throughout the day, and we've had just about 200 volunteers with the cooking and participants and shopping and cooking, and we did that with a lot of fun and with lots of energy, and so it's been fantastic, and people have learned how to cook stuff as well, so it's been great.
Feasting on Agriculture with A.J. Sabine was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board. Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat. By the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice. And by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner.
It was truly fantastic to see how impactful USA Rice was to the people who needed it the most. It should be noted that the trip was made possible with the generous support of the Rice Foundation as well as Rice Tech. And guys, I can honestly tell you, Burroughs Market was probably my second best food experience traveling abroad. We've been to Turkey, I've been to Mexico, absolutely fabulous.
As a New Orleans native, how does it compare to Louisiana cuisine?
Well, Shay, it just doesn't stack up.
Could have told you that.
Little spoiled. But I mean, you mentioned it was second best. What's first best?
Mama's home cooking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really good. She makes one of the best crawfish biscuits I've ever had in my life to this day. So it's really good.
Well, you know, you talked about Burroughs Market having things from all around the world. It makes sense. British Empire spread out all around the world, but we're trying to influence them now a little bit.
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that. You know, USA Rice Federation is promoting rice in UK and all across Europe. But what's unique about it, they've taken advantage of the double-decker buses, and they have a promotional campaign where it literally drives all over the downtown area of London to remind you to think USA Rice.
Cool.
I wish I could have gone on that trip, man. I love British Bitters and Monty Python and Iron Maiden. So
you would have loved it.
I'll continue to look at your photos. Thanks a lot, AJ Sabine. Still to come on TWILA, did you ever think we were a bunch of dummies? Don't answer that.
Well, that's not fair, but we'll do our best impressions of them coming up right after this. Stay with us.
Now it's time for a special holiday edition of Trending on TWILA. This is the most wonderful time of year online, and no, it's not because of the Black Friday sales, all the Cyber Monday sales. I'm talking about all of the Christmas posts on social media.
This week our news feed is filled with lots and lots of beautiful photos of Christmas trees and decorations that are sure to put us all in the holiday spirit.
We can't help but smile at this photo from Katie Sistrunk of her little girl Piper sitting on Santa's lap. Brittany York posted a photo of her two little boys making a homemade popcorn garland for their family tree. And Kathy Labatou shared a photo of her cat, Kevin, enjoying her colorful Christmas tree.
The Being on a Farm Facebook page posted a photo of this pretty sweet John Deere themed Christmas tree. People also posted their farm themed trees to the Women in Ag Facebook page. Faye Wasson shared her Holstein cow tree, while Rebecca Ralston posted her tree that she made from a tomato cage and a bushel basket.
Christmas tree farms are also getting social online, taking to Facebook to advertise their business. Pepper Christmas Tree Farm in West Monroe shares pictures of their customers at the farm alongside photos of their pink and purple phlox trees.
Well, we can't end this trending segment without talking about the latest craze trending online. I'm talking about the Mannequin Challenge. And if you don't know what this is, like Avery didn't, the Mannequin Challenge is a viral video craze where people imitate mannequins and freeze for the camera while music plays in the background. And we've seen some pretty great videos from the White House to professional sports locker rooms, and even some pretty impressive stunts from cheerleaders and gymnasts that I could definitely not do. But some of my favorites are the ones that feature animals, from dogs to horses and cows. These are some of the best ones I've seen, and this blue heeler is my favorite. But I really don't understand how on earth people are keeping their pets still for that long.
I don't understand how the people are staying still for that long. One from my son's school did one and posted it online, and it was all through the library and everything else, and I'm like, I can't sit still for more than 20 seconds. How do they do this for like a minute 30?
Well, you're going to have to try, because we thought we would join in on the craze and leave you with our very own TWILA edition of the Mannequin Challenge. Merry Christmas, everyone. We hope you enjoy.